KCD2 is by no means a perfect depiction of 1403 Bohemia, because there is no such thing. But it's evident that developers put a tremendous amount of time and effort and resources into ensuring that it captures the essence of a historically grounded interpretation of medieval life in this period. Let's take their approach to the main city of Kuttenberg, or Kutun Hora in Czech, as an example. If you compare depictions of the city at the time and the current infrastructure that stands from the period to KCD2, it's clear that Warhorse, the developers, claim to have painstakingly modelled the structural and architectural vision for the city on a combination of historically grounded research and by studying the largely intact medieval layout of the existing city is true, such that one could look at a 15th century portrait of the city and still feel a sense of familiarity, despite never having gone there in real life. But that's not all. Warhorse wasn't simply content with recreating the aesthetic of Kuttenberg. No, they went further than I think I've seen any other game do, and actually tried to recreate the atmosphere of a medieval city in that period. In particular, the sheer diversity. I know many people want to cling to the idea that diversity is a modern phenomenon, either in an ethnic or linguistic sense, but because of the lack of a shared education system to spread a common language and very loose or non-existent borders, there was actually far more cultural and linguistic difference in our past. So if you arrived in a large commercial hub like Kuttenberg in 1403, perhaps one of the first things you've noticed, apart from the stench, would be the number of different languages and dialects. And while it would have been impossible for Warhorse to exactly recreate how it would have been, because we simply don't know exactly who was in the city and how they spoke in the precise way in that area at that time, the conscious effort they put into recreating this feeling of diversity by giving each group distinct accents to differentiate them from one another does a brilliant job at recreating this feeling.
Nobis est petitio.
It took a similar attitude to the sword play as well. Now, I'm no medieval sword fighter, but the footage I've seen from experts reacting to it seems to suggest it does differ in certain ways, particularly in the speed of the sword play, but it's as clear to me as these experts that these changes were made to better represent the feeling of medieval combat using a controller, not simply as a way to relegate medieval warfare to an aesthetic that adds flavour to an otherwise ahistorical interpretation.